Hi there, and welcome to today's class. For this class, we'll try to consider a concept under the basic concept of civil engineering. Let's look at yet the concept of civil engineering construction. Basically, for this class, um, we'll try to estimate some material used for substructure according in terms of volume. So for this class, we'll try to determine the numbers of materials required for a particular construction of a site. As you can see the site in front of you. So I'm having this site here. This is the plan of the site, right? So where I have my sitting room and my other part here, perhaps I can choose to call here toilet and kitchen if you want to. Basically, this is a plan here. For this plan here, I'm told to um, calculate the required material from the substructure. When I'm saying substructure, I mean the ground, from the ground, right? So let's say for instance, I have a ground. Let's say this is a ground, right? Let's say this is a ground. This is a ground here. Before I can start building on this plan, before I can start building a house this way, I cannot just put my block here and start building. I have to what? Dig a hole here and dig a hole here. So that hole will come down this way, right? So I have to what? Dig a hole down this way before I start building. So this hole I dig down, before I start placing my block, I have to lay down the first thing called blinding. So I have to put blinding here, right? Blinding this blinding refers to as a mixture of cement, sand, and granite, right? So if I mix a cement, sand, and granite after excavating the ground, before I observe, if you go to site, before they start building, they'll do an excavation, they'll dig the floor round. After digging the floor, this next thing to do is what? You pour your cement on that trenches, those holes you have dug. You pour cement on it. That cement you poured is called blinding. So we'll determine how many quantity of cement, sand, and granite we need for this blinding. We're going to do that. After digging this hole, after pouring your cement, your blinding, right? Next thing is what? Foundation. So the cement will not, the concrete you poured on the floor will not get dry. After that, you now start laying your block. That block is referred to as foundation. Foundation. So this foundation refers to as a block. We now start arranging the block from the ground. So we want to take that block from the ground upward, which will give us this one here. So I cannot just start my building from here. Right? No, I have to what? Create a hole where that will start from. So observe that I've put the concrete down here already. Then I have placed my foundation, which is my block wall. We refer this as the formation of block wall. We call it formation of block wall, right? Creating of block walls, right? So that's for next thing. Next up, I have my hardcore. So I'll pour my hardcore. I'll pour my, after doing this foundation dogging, there will be holes, right? How do I even explain this? Basically, I'll show you a picture, right? A video that will illustrate what I'm trying to say after explaining this in the screen now. All right, after pouring your hardcore, your next task is that damp proof. You put your damp proof, right? I'll put your damp proof. This damp proof, DP, damp proof. Next up, your ground floor. This is the ground floor here. So this ground floor is your normal floor you are seeing at home in the house. The way they have covered already. That ground floor refers to this ground floor here, which is what ground floor. So note that before I can start building, this blinding will contain what? 50 millimeter. The thickness 50 millimeter. Foundation 2 is what? 150 millimeter. The thickness is it. Hardcore is of course 152. Damp proof is 50. While ground floor is 200. So this is like the depth to which you have to dig before you can start building. So what's total of this? What is total? Total here is what? All I get here. If I had 200 plus 50 plus 300, which is this will give 300 plus 50. I have 600 in total. So I have 600 millimeter, which is the 600 millimeter, which is the entire depth to which I will dig, right, before I can start building my house. So I have to dig a hole of 600 before I start building, right? So I have this explanation here. So basically, I'll focus on, because I don't actually need to start calculating for hardcore, right? Because it's like you go and purchase hardcore. It's like a stone, a rock, a broken down rock into smaller pieces, right? So I will show you like a video to explain what I just said now. But basically, I'll be trying to explain the quantity of cement, sand and granite we need for blinding. After blinding, ground floor. Basically, I'm given blinding. They said basically, okay, let's look at it this way. All right, I haven't explained this concept here. Let's look at the question very well. It said, estimate the material used for substructure according in terms of volume. And they said, calculate what? Yes, I'm going to find the quantities of the cement, sand, and granite, or perhaps all the material needed for this plan. So, excavation, right? So basically, our excavation now, as we said, is what should be what a minimum what 600 millimeter downwards excavate. Is what is excavation? Is the process of what digging the earth surface, right? For the purpose for the purpose of building, right? The process of removing this the soil from the ground, right, for the purpose of building is called excavation. So our excavation was should be a minimum what 600 millimeter. Also, the blinding we're asked to use, this blind I said blind is a mixture of cement and granite, like a concrete that is first poured on the ground after excavation. Is called blinding. So blinding is simply a mixture of sand, cement and granite that is poured on the ground before on the ground after excavation, right? So this is my blinding. Blinding, I'm given a ratio of 1:4:4. 1:4:4. Also, this foundation concrete, right, is given as the ratio of 1:4. So I'm going to calculate for this one too. Also, hardcore is just what a minimum what 150 millimeter thick. So I'll pour my hardcore to a height of 150 millimeter. So hardcore is like a stone, right? I said I'll show you a video very soon that will explain this concept. All right. So hardcore will be poured to an height of 150. Damp proof is like a nylon, right? It is used to prevent water or perhaps moisture from entering into the building. So it's like a black nylon like this that is used to that is placed after the hardcore to prevent water or moisture from entering this building, right? There's no how if rain fall, rain will enter the ground, and this damp-proof membrane is a nylon that will help to no water will be in the ground here. So when water is trying to come inside the building, this nylon here will prevent the water from passing through the building. All right, this is my ground floor. That is concrete oversize. This ground floor is referred to as concrete oversize, using given as what 1:2:4. So basically, I'm calculating for 1, 2, and 3. I want to know the amount of cement and granite I need for blinding, also for foundation concrete, and also for concrete oversize, or perhaps your ground floor. So basically, let me show you a quick video that will a quick practical video that will explain what I just said, so you can follow the imagination.
Okay, this is Fear God Eze reporting from Sisos Engineering Limited. This is one of our projects here in Umuahia, Abia State. We are ready for mass concrete at the DPC level. We just finished filling compassion, damp-proof membrane, you can see it, and the hardcore placement. So we are ready for concrete today.
with Omalis Multi-Concept Nigeria Limited. Right now, the stage of work on the sports complex is the laying of hardcore, the membrane and the BRC mesh. Right now we are doing the laying of the DPM, which is the damp-proof membrane, and the wire mesh. As you can see around, the hardcore is already placed on the foundation. So the workers are now laying the DPM and the hardcore BRC. The essence of the hardcore is for the splitting of the capillary action. The work of the membrane is to resist that capillary action from penetrating the oversight concrete. While the BRC is for the reverberation, the shocks or reverberation on the oversight concrete. That's what it absorbs. So that's what we are doing right now.
Welcome back. I will understand that video very shortly. Let's look at the first calculation there. Calculating for the total number of material used for blinding. So this blinding there is the first concrete or a mixture of cement, sand and granite that is poured on the ground after the excavation, right? Also, I can define it as the concrete that is touching the ground directly. So a blinding is simply a concrete that touches the ground directly, right? So that's refers to as blinding, please. All right, so let's do calculation, please. For my blinding there, for my blinding, for my blinding there, I have the ratio is given as 1:4:4. All right, basically, first is first. My very first task here now is that I will use my concept of how to calculate number of cement, sand, and granite here. So I've done a video on how to calculate number of cement, sand, and granite in the previous classes. So I'll drop the link to this description of this video. Try to watch that. It will give you a very quick understanding on how to do this. Basically, I know my ratio already. Now, very first thing is that I'll try to get the dimension of the site. This plan here has a measurement of the entire length here. Let me get the length. So for the plan, from the plan, my length, breadth, and height. I want to get my breadth and height. So this height is not the height of the building, no, perhaps height of the blinding. So this blinding has an height of what? 50 millimeter, right? So note that, please. The height is what? 50 millimeter. Please know this very constant, a constant value, please. Know this, cramp on your head, memorize it, have it in your mind, please. So this is for my blinding here. All right, my length of the building is of course 3,000, 2,000, that's 5,000. With this one here, that's 8, right? So I have 8,000 millimeter. By the way, I'm working with meter. Convert millimeter to meter, of course, divided by 1,000, I'll have 8 meters. What's my breadth? My breadth is what? 6,000. I have 6,000 millimeter. Please convert it to meter. That becomes 6 meter. My entire height there is 0.5, sorry, 5 millimeter, 50 millimeter per se. Convert this, I'll have 0.05 meter. Of course, 50 divided by 1,000, I have 0.05 meter. So I have this one here. So I've gotten my length, width, and height. But basically, let's get a volume of the blindings. So volume of blinding. So volume of blinding, what do I get there? Volume is equal to what? Length times breadth times height. My volume here, what's your length? Of course, that's what? 8 meter times breadth is what? 6 times height is 0.05. Basically, my volume will be equal in value to, if I multiply 8 by 6 by 0.05, I have about 2.4 meter cube, because volume is meter cube, so I have 2.4 meter cube as my volume. All right, at this point here, let's get the mass of this concrete here. So Basic next thing there is what? Calculate for the mass of blinding. So basically we know that density is mass over volume. So mass now will be equal to density times volume. All right, my mass m is equal to what's density? So basically density of a concrete is usually what? 2400, a constant value 2400, right? Times what's your volume? That's 2.4. Basically I should know this. 2400 is a constant value, right? We should know this before now we should know this, because I said watch our previous classes on how to calculate number of cement and granite so that you can understand this concept. Density of a concrete is 2400, is a constant value, please. So times volume, so my mass becomes 2400 times 2.4. I have about 5760 kilogram. So it means that for this blinding here, after construction out the blinding, if I carry the concrete blinding in a scale, it should give me this weight. All right, that's my mass of blinding. At this point now, let's now do the number of cement and granite needed in for blinding. So let's get number of cement, because we said the ratio is given as 1:4. So for ratio, from the ratio given, from the ratio given, I have that I have sorry from the ratio given, I have 1:4. Add them up. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So total is 9, right? So let's do for cement. We said this is cement, sand, and granite. This is cement, sand, and granite. So for cement, so calculating number of cement needed for blinding. All right, from here now, my cement, I have one, that's my one for cement, all over mass. What's my mass there? 5760 times total, sorry, 1 over your total of the ratio 9 times what's the mass? 5760, right? I have this, multiply this through, I have 5760 over 9. So from here, number of cement needed should be around if I have 5760 divided by 9, I have 640. Yeah, basically one bag of cement we said is what? 50 kg. So definitely, therefore I should have 640 divided by what? 50. So let's get number of cement needed. 640 by 50. So I need 12.8 bags of cement for my blinding. So I'm done with the blinding. So keep this information very well. For blinding, my number of cement needed is what? Perhaps you can say 13. So I can approximate and say what? 13. So I can use 13 instead. 13 bags of cement for my blinding. Let's get the number of sand and granite needed for the blinding, and let's move to foundation concrete using ratio 1:4. All right, at this point now, all right, um so I've gotten the cement here. Let's get the sand, right? Let's get the sand. Let's get the sand here. All right, for my sand, this is for calculating for the cement, Abby. So calculating for sand needed for blinding. So basically, what's my sand? That's 4. This cement, sand, and granite. That's 4. So I have 4 all over. Total of ratio is 9 times what's my mass there? That's 5760. What I have here? Sorry. 4 times 5760 divided by 9. I have 2560. Basically, we said sand are in terms of tons, right? So I'll divide this answer by 1000. So that becomes 2560 over 1000. This should give around 2.56 tons of cement. So I need 2.56 tons of sand per se for the blinding. Let's get granite, please. Calculating for granite needed for blinding. So for my granite for blinding, for my granite from blinding, I have about for granite I have 4. That becomes 4 all over 9. Same thing now times what? The mass. So similarly, observe that they are 4. So they should be of the same value. So times 5760, which gives 2560. Basically, we said divide by 1000. So I have 2560 by 1000. So I need 2.56 tons of what? Granite. So basically now I've gotten for my blinding. For blinding, number of cement I needed is 13 bag of cement. Also, the number of granite that is needed is 2.56 tons, and also number of granite is what? 2.56 tons too. Let's keep this information down and let's see what we get. All right, I'm done with the concept of blinding, right? So I've done the number of material required for blinding. Let's move to the next one called the foundation concrete using ratio. Let's get number of sand, cement, granite needed for this one too. All right, from here, let's look at yet number of cement, sand, and granite needed for foundation concrete, right? We have said the same thing as what your foundation, right? So let's get this done, please. Basically, I've gotten the mass, right? Um, Perhaps basically we said the length of this building is of course 900, right? 800. With this one is a 600, so basically there's some value that we don't even need to start recalculating again that I've done already, right? So the volume, okay, okay, let's do this way, please. Same thing I play with the first one I did. My length what's my length here? That's 8 meters. You said you use meters. My breadth is what? 6 meters. Now my height changes, please. My height changes, please. So my height changes. So I will recalculate for my mass and volume again. So the height changes, please. So what's my height for this foundation? 150. So I have 150 divided by 1000. That's 0.1515 meters. So how basically 0.15 meters here. That's my height. So from here now, I'll try to calculate the volume here. So basically for volume of the foundation concrete, let me call it FC. Um, Write your own in full, please. So for volume of foundation concrete here, I'll have volume is what? Length times breadth times height. Basically, my length is 8 times my breadth here is 6. my height here is 0.15. For me now, if I punch my calculator, what do I get here? This becomes 8 times 6 times is 0.15. I have about, my volume there is equal to 7.2 meter cube. That's my volume. Next up, I'll get the mass of this foundation concrete. So let's get this is the volume for mass of foundation concrete. Write your own info, please. So I'll get what I get here. For mass, we said mass is equal to what? Density times what? Times volume. Density is constant, 2400, times volume is of course 7.2 meter cube per se. For me, my mass now, my mass is now equal to, basically this symbol is called rho, right? Rho is used for representing density, please. So in the previous video, I just used the value density. I wrote density there. So this is a symbol for representing density. This is called rho. Either I use this, or I use this, or I use this. Any of these three is still much correct, right? So I have that, by the way. All right, from here, what do I get from here? My mass now is equal to 2400 multiplied by 7.2. This gives 17,280 kilogram. All right, so this is my mass of the foundation concrete FC. Please write your FC in full because of the space, so I just use FC. For me now, what do I get from here? I've got my mass. Let's now get the material required, please. So basically, my ratio from the ratio given, I have what? 1:2:4. Add them up, that becomes 4, 6, 7. So I have 7 here. I have 7 as my total of the ratio. So let's get the cement, sand, and granite. Let's start with cement. This is cement, sand, and granite. So calculating for number of cement needed for FC, that is foundation concrete. Put your own in full. So cement there, for my cement I have 1. Cement, sand, and granite, I have 1 as my cement. That becomes 1 over, what's your total of ratio? That's 7 times, what's my mass? 17,280. What do I get here? I'll have 1 times 17,280 is simply 17,280 divided by 7. I have about 2468.57 at my number of cement needed. Basically, you know that one bag of cement there signifies what? The 50 kg. So I'll divide this value by 50. What do I get? 2468.57 divided by 50. So get the number of bag needed. So divided by 50. So it means that I need 49 bags of cement. So in our previous calculation, when we did for blinding, the number of cement needed there, I think that was around 13 bags, right? When this is 13 bag. For this one there, I have 49 bags, right? So I need 49 bags of cement here for this foundation concrete. All right, for me, let's get the number of sand needed and granite. For the sand there, so calculating for numbers of sand needed for foundation concrete. We said for sand I have these 2. That becomes 2 over total of the ratio is of course 7 times what's my mass. My mass there is given as 17 All right, this one here, 17280. So I have this. So if I get my value here, my total number of sand needed here should be around 2 times 17280 divided by 7. I have 4937.1, right? So for this one here, I'll divide by 1000. We said divide by 1000 to get the number in tons. So divided by 1000. So I have 4.9 tons of sand. So I need 4.9, approximately 5 tons if you want to. So I can use 5 tons here. So let me use 5 tons approximately. So I'll have just 5 tons of sand needed for this particular foundation concrete. Let's get the number of cement, basically granite per se. I've gotten the cement, sand. Let's get granite, please. For my granite calculation, for me now, calculating for number of granite, right? Granite needed for FC, that is foundation concrete. So what I get from here, this should give around. So from here I'll have the basic concept we are using since. So this is my granite here, that's 4. So I'll have 4 all over. My mass is of course 17280. So I have 17280 times of course my, basically we said 17280 should be here, 17280. The total of the ratio should be here, that's 9. Sorry, 7. Total of the ratio is of course 7 here. So from here, what I get from here, this is now equal to 4 divided by 7 times 17280. I have about 9874.2. Divided by 1000 to get our answer in tons. So I have divided by 1000. So I have just 9.8. I probably use 10. So I have 10. I need 10 tons for my granite here. So basically, what we did for blinding, we need 13 bag of cement, 2.56 tons for both sand and granite, because we said they are the same calculation there. For foundation concrete, I needed 49 bag of cement, 5 tons of sand, and 10 tons of what, granite. So this is like what I have here. Also, with the same procedure I've used to calculate for my blinding, right, and my foundation concrete, use that same procedure to calculate for your concrete oversize. Basically, my thickness there is what, 200, please. So instead of height, my height now, when it comes to concrete oversize, the height there will be a 200. So I have a 200 here instead. So I now use the 200 to calculate for my volume. After volume, your mass. After mass, then you get your number of sand, cement, and granite. So after that, you now combine all your values. So basically, for blinding here, my number of bag needed is 13. So 13. For this one here, I needed 49. So when you do calculation, when you do your calculation for concrete oversize, the number of cement you have there, you now add it up. It will not give you a total number of bag of cement you need, right? So basically, I'll try to do this last one there in our next class. So I'll do this last calculation then in our next class. So we get this right.